Oh, hello.
Hello, Brian.
Oh, morning or afternoon, Tony.
How are you doing?
Uh, I've been okay. It just a bit of information overload the past, I think, 2 weeks.
Information overload, that's never good.
Yeah.
For this class or just in general with life?
I think uh for some reason just for this class, the other two have been okay. It just for some reason it's been taking a bit longer for me to somehow break down information for me like more efficiently or trying to uh for some reason it's taking me a bit longer to click in my head.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Normally, by this stage of the game, we're about halfway through the class. You should be getting your rhythm, not having more difficulties. But is there anything I can help with?
Yeah. So thankfully I didn't have much of an issue for week 5. I think it was just more for week 4. Um, because I
Okay.
realized after submitting my homework is I had an issue. I had a lapse in information and judgment. So I forgot I for some reason I had overlooked in terms of because I thought I was missing information with calculating the float
Right.
and the late start, but I think I got it now. But I think my issue is when we're given so many, I guess, um, what's the term? Let's see. Let me try to find that note. Yeah, so when we have so many activity nodes, I had an issue in terms of trying to, I guess, effectively work on it on paper. So, what are some suggestions in terms of when we're doing these calculations and how do we not lose track?
Well, so let's take a look at the assignment. So you had 11 tasks, correct?
Yes.
So the most important thing is making sure that you have the right relationships.
Hmm.
So that's going to, well, even more important than that, you want to make sure you have the right task. And fortunately, for this assignment, I gave you the task list, but generally speaking, you would have to use a work breakdown structure
Hmm.
to produce it. So assuming you did the work breakdown structure, there were these 11 tasks. And then you need to put them in sequence. So let's take a look at your submission because I think that will probably be the best way
Yeah. I
to
realized
talk
yeah,
about it.
yeah, because for some reason, I'm not sure what happened, but I think I somehow thought I was missing information, but I wasn't. So I didn't calculate the late starts. So I'm not sure, yeah, what quite happened.
Okay, let's see here. I'm
And
trying to open your file. It's a dot .po. Oh wait, here's a PDF. Okay.
yeah, because it was my first time using Project Libre because
Yeah,
I tried using Google Docs. Well, that was for week 2, and that took um I was running out of space in terms of
sure.
trying to map up the
So
nodes.
did you have a chance to look at the document that I submitted?
I did.
Okay, because that really has everything that you need. And you know, it's not a bad idea, Brian, to maybe do this in Excel the first time. That way you're in control of the calculations.
Mm-hmm.
And what you submitted did not have the 6 or 7 pieces of data that you should have had, but you can see in the attachment that I gave you,
Mm-hmm.
it does have everything laid out. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, you'll have to do some of the calculations manually in terms of the the float time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think doing this may help you see things a little bit more clearly. What do you think?
Okay. I think that's a good idea. I think this for some reason. Well, it's. I think that's a good idea. I just had to play around with
I want to
Excel.
give you some, I want to give you something else to help you. Hang on a second.
Okay.
So last week, did you have a chance to look at the recording from the session from last week?
Um, for some reason, I wasn't able to find it a few days ago. Let me see if I can find it.
Well, that's okay, because can you see this book?
Oh, yeah, yes, I can.
Yeah, I mentioned this book, and you could buy, this is the first edition, but they have
Oh,
subsequent editions, and
mm-hmm,
it's dirt cheap. You could probably get it for a couple dollars, but
mm-hmm,
there is a really nice chapter here on network scheduling that covers everything that you want to know in a very simplistic way. And it also has earned value analysis in it, which
mm-hmm,
to me are the two most essential things for project management. But you could see that right here, there's a diagram,
mm-hmm.
and it's the same type of diagram that we have in a course. So I
Okay.
think if you were to get this book, um, it will really help you with scheduling, especially if you're planning on using project management in the future. You
Mm-hmm,
really want to get a good handle on network scheduling for a couple reasons. The first reason is most people don't use it. They use Gantt charts, and Gantt charts are not as powerful as a network schedule. So if you know how to use it and you know its benefits, then you can influence other people to use it. And the second thing is you could use it yourself. So I think getting a copy of that book for a couple bucks would probably be a good investment for you.
okay. Yeah, because I was spending a lot of time trying to map it out on paper at least. So I didn't have enough time to try to see how I could use Excel.
Or even just, or you can just use a piece of paper and just draw it.
Yeah.
Um, and the good news is probably I'd say 2/3 of the class they created a document just like this, and this is also reflected in the slides
Hmm.
for week 4. So I think they went back and they looked at that and used that as a model to
Yeah.
follow.
Okay. And then let's see.
Now next week, you have your midterm and also the presentation.
Let's see, I believe so. So in terms of the presentation, how is that? Are we presenting in person or just
Yeah,
presenting
so
this?
I wanted to tell you about that so I can help you. So the presentation is going to be a recording, and or it can even just be it could be a narrated Microsoft project, or I'm sorry, Microsoft PowerPoint presentation, or it could be some other uh, video software, or it doesn't even need to be narrated. You could use PowerPoint, and you can just type in notes in the
Mhm.
bottom of the slides. But what's important is the presentation needs to be balanced 50% ideally on conceptual things that we've been talking about in class. And then
Mhm.
the other 50% will be an application of those conceptual things in a real world example, either something that you are working on your job, or it could be something that you know about, or it even could be a hypothetical thing that you create, but it really needs to show that you are able to apply the tools. So for example, you could apply you could create a network diagram and use that for your application.
Okay.
Did that help you?
Yeah, it helps.
Good. Okay. Do you have any other questions for me, Brian?
Yes, I do. So it's also going back to week 4. The other
Okay.
weeks were pretty straightforward. It's just for some, it's just I kind of feel like week 4, the recording, some of the terminology wasn't as defined, or it was I'm not, or maybe it was interchanged used kind of loosely. Like for example, like the user stories and features, I kind of had some mix up in terms of um those terms.
Yeah. Let me go there. Hang on a second. I have a touch screen and sometimes I touch the wrong thing and it closes my file.
Oh,
It's really annoying. Did that ever happen to you?
yeah.
You use a touch screen?
Only for my phone. I mostly try to
Okay.
keep applications simple for computers.
Well, it's really handy for me to navigate. I can be a lot quicker on my laptops. All of them are touch screens.
Oh, okay.
One of them, I lose the touchscreen functionality from time to time, but then it comes back. It's really crazy how why it does that.
Yeah.
Okay, one more time here. Yeah, it's an Acer computer, and it's weird. I will lose my sound card driver sometime,
Oh,
and then it'll come back mysteriously. It's the strangest
yeah.
thing. All right, so let's take a look at the instructions again for that week 4.
Mhm.
So are you talking about some of the confusion with the terminology?
Yeah, so I had to reference a lot in terms of the text and definitions, but I feel like sometimes I just feel like the in terms of terminology of features and user stories were kind of like mixed together.
Okay, so I'm looking, are you talking about week 4?
Yes, week 4. Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking about features? Where does it say features?
Uh, Hold on. Let me double check. Let me try to find user stories. Or I think I think we can go to slide 44. Let me
Oh, you're
see.
talking about the slides.
Yes,
Okay,
and then I was double
so
checking. Let's see.
yeah,
Oh,
so
sorry.
let's talk about that in general. So one of the problems is that there is a lack of standardization in project management where people use different terms for the same thing. For example, a task or an activity
Mhm.
can be used interchangeably. And I think when you're working with people in project management, it's going to be important that you can interpret what they say. For example, they may use the word timeline, schedule, and plan all interchangeably. So it's kind of the nature of the beast.
Mm.
But if you find a specific slide, let me know and I'll take a look at it and see if I can help you.
Okay, let me see. Let me try to remember which one it is, and then features. Oh, I think it was slide 58, and then I was trying to break down in terms of the explanation for 58.
Okay, let me go
Um,
through there. Okay, I'm on 58, where it says process, develop, schedule, tools and techniques. Is that the one you're
yeah,
talking about?
yeah. So I think for some reason, um,
Yeah, so it says
yeah.
activity A, activity B.
Uh, wait, hold on, 58. My 58 has a just like a chart that says the releases, like 3 releases.
Okay.
There's another
Hmm.
table of release plan and an iteration plan.
What I did is I jumped to 58, page 58. Maybe slide 58 is different than page 58.
Oh,
I don't
oh,
see any
I think it's page 59.
59. Okay. Okay. It's called Tools, Techniques, Agile Release.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. So now, so you're talking about feature, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that is an agile terminology, and you can see that each feature. Well, let's see. Yeah, yeah, I see that. Hang on a second, and let me get. I got my book right here.
It's okay.
Uh, do you have a copy of the sixth edition PMBOK guide?
I hold on. What do I have? I have no, I only have the e-copy of the process groups.
Okay. And of course, there's no so features represent value to the customer. So what this is related to, there's four things that a customer expects. And
Mhm.
so the first feature has two different stories, which means two different plans that are related to that. So that's what that's coming from.
So a user story is like I guess like a predicted expectation for the customer.
A story is a like a short plan. And see, the problem with the PMBOK guide, they don't define things very clearly. Hang on a second, I'm gonna grab something else.
Okay.
Okay, so a user story. So a story is a deliverable,
Okay.
and then the feature is a particular element of that story. So there's five deliverables here, 5 stories in this diagram, and the first 2 stories share the same feature. And then the third, fourth, and fifth story have unique features. Okay? So that's it.
Oh, okay. Mm, mm, okay.
And you
So,
know, the thing about Agile, so are you currently employed?
not at the moment.
So where have you worked before?
Most past few years was the county for the health department.
Okay. So most projects, people want you to tell them at the beginning how the project is going to end up, how long it's going to take, and how much it's going to cost. Do you
Mhm.
agree?
Yeah, yes.
So, but there are some projects that have a high degree of uncertainty or unpredictability where it's impossible to tell somebody how it's going to end up because there's too many unexpected things that are going to happen.
Mhm.
So in that case, you're going to use Agile because in essence, you're taking a big project, you're dividing it into smaller sections.
Mhm.
So in this case, um, you could have a project that has 5 deliverables. Let's say it's a flying car or
Mhm.
flying motorcycle. So the first story would be you need to get some sort of approval from the government to put that vehicle up in the air.
Mhm.
Then the second thing would be to how to actually do it. The third story could be how is it controlled? And then the fourth thing is how is it commercialized?
Mhm.
So so you would have to do each one of those separately to come up with the end result. But you can't predict the end result because the first three, getting the government approval, um, getting it airborne, controlling it, all those things have a lot of uncertainty. So then you would do things in phases.
Mm.
But the unfortunate thing is, in most projects, you don't do things in phases. But for some reason, PMI, they've decided that they're going to go on this agile bandwagon, which primarily is for IT, and to really require people to know a lot about it when in reality they're probably not going to use it that much.
Okay.
But that's just, you know, they own all the gold,
Mhm.
so they get to make the rules.
Yeah.
And that's how life is in general.
Yeah. Because I just find it interesting, and at least for my previous experience, I think everything was most on what was it, um, the actuals versus planned.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So anything else I can help you with?
Mm, I think that's all for today. It definitely helped. But every other week I think has been pretty straightforward. It's just for
Okay,
that week I was just having some
sure.
difficulty.
Well, I'm glad that you checked in with me so I could at least do my best to help you.
But I appreciate the time, Tony.
Sure. My pleasure, Brian. All right. So, where do you call home? Where do you live?
Oh, I live in the San Gabriel Valley in LA County.
In Simi Valley?
Oh no, in San Gabriel Valley, like
Oh,
in
San Gabriel
Alhambra,
Valley.
yeah,
What city?
like San Marino.
San Marino. Okay, that's nice. That's right next to Pasadena.
Yeah.
They have a lot of older Spanish mansions there.
Oh, yes, or more on the north side.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. So I grew up in a town called Bell. Have you ever heard of it?
Bell in California?
Yeah.
I'm not so sure.
Have you heard of Huntington Park?
Oh, yes, yes.
It's right next to Huntington Park.
Oh,
So it's about 6 miles from Los Angeles. It's right off of uh, the Long Beach Freeway.
oh, okay.
It's a terrible place to live. It's a kind of place that, well, when I was living there as a child,
Hmm.
um, you need to leave when you graduate from high school. Otherwise, you'll either become a drug addict or uh, a criminal
Mm.
because it's a very depressed area in terms of just not a lot of good things going on. The government there actually stole the money from the taxpayers,
Oh, wow.
and the whole city went bankrupt.
Wait, is Huntington Park incorporated with LA City or not incorporated?
Um, it's part of LA County.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a show on Netflix I think called Jury Duty. It's kind of a mockumentary. Have you heard of it?
Oh, yes. No, I haven't heard of it, but I know what mockumentaries are.
Yeah, it's set in Huntington Park, the
Oh,
courthouse there, and
okay.
it's actually the place because I know it because I used to go over there for other functions, not to
Hmm.
court. Yeah. So
Oh,
have you been to Los Angeles area your entire life?
mostly. I got to know the county a lot more because I was a field inspector the past 3 years,
Huh?
so I drove around the county quite a bit daily.
Yeah.
So
Do you
yeah,
like living there?
um, I appreciate it more, especially with the variety of food and like I guess the accessibility to nature, the ocean.
Yeah, it's
Um,
just there's a
yeah,
lot of people there and it's pretty expensive.
yeah.
I was there for 53 years, so that was
Oh wow.
enough. I
Yeah.
lived all over though. I lived in Hermosa Beach and Manhattan Beach,
Oh, okay.
also in Torrance, and then I lived in Orange County uh, a good part of my life. I lived in Fountain Valley and Westminster.
Hmm.
So, but now I'm in Georgia. I've been here for 17 years, and I love it here. It's a great place to live.
Oh, that's good.
It's a lot of transplanted people where I'm at,
Hmm.
and you can't get good Asian food here. There's pockets of Georgia where the Asian people live,
Hmm.
but if you try to get good Thai or Vietnamese or Chinese or Japanese, you have to go into downtown Atlanta. But if you're in a suburb, it's not good.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but it's nice.
That's
All right.
good.
Well, look, if you have nothing else, I'll let you get back to what you're doing, and I will talk with you later.
Okay. I appreciate the time, Tony.
Okay, and don't hesitate to ask for help or to come back again.
Okay.
Okay, Brian, have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, you too.
Okay, talk with you again. Bye bye.
Goodbye.
Hmm? It's in the unfinished part of the basement over there.
Down here,
Huh?
oh, off of the media room.
Yeah, it's on top of the bricks.